There's a specific kind of anxiety that's been floating around Slack channels and, those Zoom waiting rooms lately. It's not that loud panic we saw a few years back with the robots taking over factories.
Right.
It's quieter.
It's more white collar.
Exactly. It's that creeping suspicion that the software we use every day is, well, slowly learning how to do our jobs better than we can.
It's the background radiation of the modern office, isn't it? That AI anxiety.
Totally. And usually when we talk about this, the focus is on specialists, right? Coders worried about autocomplete, copywriters worried about text generators.
Right.
But today, we're aiming the spotlight somewhere else, a group that, frankly, gets a pretty bad rap.
Let me guess. The middle manager.
The middle manager. Ah, yes, the administrative glue. You know the stereotype.
I do.
The person whose entire job seems to be chasing you for status updates, compiling reports nobody reads, and just, moving info from inbox A to inbox B.
It feels expendable.
It does. If an algorithm can move data, why do we need Gary from accounts to do it?
And look, that's the cynical view. But
Yeah.
I mean, if that is all a manager does in 2026, they really should be worried.
Right.
But the reality is so much more complex.
Yeah.
We're diving into a concept today called the great unbundling. It's based on some really sharp analysis by Johan Steyn, but we're also pulling in data from IMD, Upwork, Business Insider.
To see if it actually holds up.
Exactly. We want to see if this theory matches the real world.
So just to set the stage, the big argument isn't that middle management is dying, it's that it's splitting apart.
Precisely. Steyn argues that for the last, 50 years, the role of manager has just been this bundle of two totally different jobs.
A bundle.
Yeah, like an old cable package. You get the premium channels, but you're also forced to get the shopping network. You can't separate them.
And AI is the scissors.
AI is the ultimate pair of scissors. It's slicing that bundle right down the middle.
Okay, I like that. So our mission for this deep dive is to figure out what those two halves are, the mechanical versus the human. But I also want to get into the dark side of this because I've been reading about something called the megamanager, and it sounds like a corporate horror story.
Oh, it is. It's a trap a lot of companies are walking right into. We have to cover that.
And then finally, the broken rung. If AI does all the junior grunt work, how does anyone actually learn how to be a boss?
A huge question.
Okay, but let's start with the bundle. Steyn says it's a mixed bag. What's actually in the bag?
Well, just think about a manager's average Tuesday. On one side, you have what Steyn calls the mechanical layer.
Okay.
This is the stuff that just dominates the calendar. Status reporting, scheduling, monitoring all the metrics, making slide decks.
It's the nagging layer. Hey, did you update the JIRA ticket? Where are the Q3 projections?
Yes, remember to fill out your timesheet. It's all coordination. It's logistical, highly structured.
Trains running on time.
Exactly. But then, inside that same job, often in the very next meeting, you have the human layer.
Which is, well, it's just being nice to people.
No, it's much higher stakes than that. It's coaching a junior employee who's really struggling. It's resolving a toxic conflict between two teams that just hate each other.
Right.
It's making a tough budget trade-off where you know you're going to have to disappoint someone.
Okay, so mechanical versus human. One is logistics, the other is judgment. And I'm guessing the argument here is that AI is coming for the mechanical side.
It's not just coming for it. It is absolutely devouring it. AI thrives on structured info, on pattern recognition.
Which is what that layer is.
It is, but, and this is where people get confused, we're not just talking about a chatbot writing your emails a bit faster for you.
Right, that's the 2023 way of thinking, oh, AI helps me write faster. That's just a little productivity boost.
Exactly. We looked at the 2026 trends from IMD, and they argue we've moved way beyond assist tools. We're now in the era of operational redesign.
Operational redesign. That sounds like some expensive consultant speak. What does that actually mean on the ground?
Okay, good question. Take the status report we talked about. In the old bundled world, a manager emails 5 people, asks for updates, waits.
Chases the 2 people who didn't reply.
Right. Then collates it all into a Word doc, fixes the formatting, sends it up the chain.
A process which takes about 4 hours of misery.
At least. In an operationally redesigned workflow, the AI agents are already integrated. The AI sees the code being committed, it sees the sales logged in the CRM, it sees the support tickets closing.
So it's pulling the data automatically.
In real time. It aggregates the status and presents a dashboard.
Yeah.
The chasing task. It doesn't just get faster, it literally ceases to exist for the human.
So the manager isn't even in the loop. The system just knows.
Correct. The whole reporting and coordination load, the thing Steyn calls the glue, it's becoming an AI-native workflow.
Okay, and Upwork had some data on this too, right?
They did. Their analysis backs this up heavily. They found the shift in management roles is specifically less time on oversight and coordination,
And more time on.
leadership, and actual problem solving. The glue that held the operation together is being pulled apart because the software is the new glue.
Which on paper sounds fantastic. I mean, hey, I don't have to do spreadsheets anymore. I can just be a leader. I can be inspiring.
Right.
But I feel a catch coming because companies rarely look at a new technology and say, great, let's make everyone's life easier and keep paying them the same.
You are right to be skeptical. There is a massive catch.
They usually say, great, how much money can we save?
And that is the trap, the great flattening.
Flattening, explain that.
So organizations, they read these headlines about AI. They see that the mechanical part of the job, which might be 40–50% of a manager's time, is going away.
And their first instinct is to cut headcount.
Exactly. If the AI does half the work, we can fire half the managers.
Removing layers, making the org chart flatter.
Yes. But they do this before they've actually built the new workflows. And this leads to a phenomenon Business Insider highlighted. They coined the term the megamanager.
The megamanager. Sounds like a video game boss. I'm guessing it's not fun.
It is a boss you absolutely do not want to be. It's the result of a simple math error. The company fires half the managers, but they still have the same number of individual workers.
So wait, if I used to manage 8 people and they fire the other 2 managers in my department.
Now you manage 24. Your span of control has tripled.
24 people. That's,
Yeah.
No. You can't know 24 people's problems.
You can't. But the logic is, well, the AI is doing the reporting, so you have plenty of free time. But here's the kicker. Because they flattened everything, they also expect these managers to be player coaches.
Oh, I hate that term. It means do your job plus manage everyone else's.
That's it. So now you have a manager with a massive team who's also expected to do their own individual work, like writing code or closing deals. And the automated systems aren't perfect yet, so they're still doing some admin.
That is a recipe for absolute burnout.
It is high burnout and a huge bottleneck.
Yeah.
If you see this unbundling as just a headcount story, a way to cut costs, you will break the company.
So this is a work design story, not a headcount story.
That is what Steyn is so clear about. You have to change how the work moves before you change who is moving it.
It feels like companies are confusing efficiency with capacity. Just because a manager can check a schedule with AI doesn't mean they have the emotional bandwidth to manage 40 humans.
Precisely. You lose the human connection, you lose mentorship, you just end up with a frantic firefighter jumping from crisis to crisis with no time to actually think.
Okay, so that's the nightmare scenario. The mega manager. Let's flip it. Let's say a company is smart. They unbundle intelligently. What does that manager's job look like? What's the rebirth?
This is the really exciting part. If you take away the chasing inputs part of the job, the value of a manager changes completely. Steyn frames it as shifting from chasing inputs to designing systems.
Designing systems. That feels a bit abstract. If I'm a marketing manager, what does that mean in practice? I'm not a software engineer.
It means you stop being the person who turns the crank, and you start being the person who designs the machine. Instead of spending Friday writing the report, you spend Monday deciding what the AI should even be measuring.
So I'm setting the rules of the game.
Yes, you define the logic. You decide who approves what. You define what evidence is needed for a decision. You become the workflow architect. And this brings us to a critical point about rigor.
Rigor? Why rigor?
Well, think about regulated industries. Finance, compliance, healthcare. Reuters noted that leaders there love the productivity of AI, but they are terrified about the audit trail.
Oh, totally. If an AI hallucinates a compliance report, you can't just tell the government, oops, the bot did it.
Exactly. The dog ate my homework does not work with federal regulators.
Yeah.
Accountability is non-negotiable. So the rebirth of the manager isn't about being a charismatic coach. It's about being the person who ensures the AI's output is valid.
That's a huge shift. I feel like in the past, the human side of management meant soft skills, empathy, vibes, you know. But you're saying the new human part is actually hardcore critical thinking.
It is the ultimate critical thinking. If the AI gives you a summary, the manager's job is to verify it, to ask, is this true? Is this safe? Is the data biased? The manager becomes the gatekeeper of reality.
So you aren't valuable because you can format a pivot table. You're valuable because you know what the pivot table means and whether it's lying to you.
Correct. The manager becomes a risk sensor, looking for the edge cases the AI missed.
This makes the job sound much, much harder. It's not managing people, it's managing reality.
It is harder. It requires more experience. And this brings up a massive structural issue that Steyn touches on, which I think is the sleeper crisis of the next decade.
Which is?
The career ladder crisis, or what some call the broken rung.
Okay, walk me through this.
Think about how most people become a manager. You start as a junior, you do good work, you get promoted to team lead, and what is that first management job usually made of?
Oh, it's the grunt work. Scheduling shifts, checking timesheets, organizing files. It's the training wheels of leadership.
Exactly, the training wheels.
Yeah.
You prove you can handle the boring stuff before they give you the keys to the car. It's an apprenticeship.
You learn how the business runs by handling the messy details.
Yes. You learn who's reliable by seeing who turns in their timesheets. You learn the budget by reconciling receipts.
But if AI eats the training wheels,
Then we have a broken rung on the ladder. If AI absorbs all those entry-level management tasks, how on earth do people learn to lead?
wow, that's profound. It's like, if you automate peeling potatoes, does the junior chef ever really understand food costs?
Or more accurately, if you automate the sous chef who organizes the pantry, how do they ever learn to design the menu?
You get VPs who have no idea how the plumbing works.
Right. And that leads to what Steyn calls shallow leadership. You get people with manager in their title who don't know how the work gets done, or you get an overloaded few, those mega managers again, who eventually quit because they're doing everything.
Yeah. So if the old ladder is broken, we need a new path. What does that even look like?
Well, we have to decouple leadership from reporting lines.
Yeah.
Organizations have to create much stronger paths for senior individual contributors.
Meaning you can get promoted, get the status, get the money without having a team of humans.
Yes. You become a principal or a fellow. Your status comes from your expertise and your ability to direct the AI systems, not because you have 10 direct reports.
That is a huge cultural shift. For 50 years, success in corporate America has been, how big is your team?
And that metric has to die.
Hmm.
In the unbundled world, success is how effective is your system or how high is your impact.
Okay, let's land this plane. We've covered a lot. If I'm a CEO listening to this right now, what should I be doing? Because that temptation to just flatten and save cash has got to be overwhelming.
If you're a CEO, stop asking, how many managers can we cut? That is the wrong question.
What's the right one?
What work should exist in the middle?
What work should exist in the middle? I like that.
You need to reinvest the time saved by AI. If AI saves your managers 10 hours a week, don't just fire 20% of them. Use those 10 hours for the stuff you always claimed was important but never had time for.
Coaching, customer intimacy, risk thinking.
Exactly. Innovation. It's about reinvesting time, not just harvesting savings. Harvesting savings now gets you the mega manager burnout and a hollowed-out company in 2 years.
And for the HR leaders, the CHROs.
This is a massive reskilling program. Steyn references Gartner here. There is this huge tension right now between the AI promise, all the hype and real value delivery.
Yeah, the gap between AI will solve everything and why is my login not working?
HR has to bridge that. They need to teach managers how to run AI-native workflows. This isn't just a here's a login to ChatGPT memo. It's teaching them to define standards, validate outputs, and spot failure modes.
Teaching them to be system designers.
Precisely.
And finally, what about the listener? The person who is a middle manager, maybe driving to work, feeling a little nervous about that administrative glue label. What's their survival move?
It requires some brutal honesty. You have to look at your calendar. If your daily value is based on reporting on producing information, moving data, scheduling meetings, you are vulnerable.
That's the mechanical bundle.
And the machine does it better. But if you can shift your value to judgment, if you're the person who makes decisions based on the data, who interprets the ambiguity, who ensures accountability,
The person who connects the dots, the AI misses.
then you are becoming more valuable than ever.
It's moving from I made this report to I decided what to do because of this report.
That's it, exactly. The work becomes less about producing information and more about deciding the future.
You know, despite the mega manager risks, this actually sounds, potentially better. Who actually likes the administrative glue part of the job?
Nobody wakes up excited to badger people for updates.
Right.
And that is the hope of the great unbundling. If we get this right, we end up with fewer layers, yes, but clear decision rights. Leaders who spend less time fighting spreadsheets and more time actually leading.
But that if is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
It is. I think 2026 is the year we're going to see who chose flattening and who chose unbundling.
So we've covered the death of the mixed bundle, the rise of the system designer, the trap of the mega manager,
And the necessity of rigor.
and the necessity of rigor. But I want to leave everyone with one final thought. It goes back to that broken rung idea. It's been nagging at me.
Go on.
We said the apprenticeship of management used to be doing the boring admin work. That was how you proved you could be trusted. You carry the water before you lead the army.
Yes, that's been the model for a century.
So, if AI carries the water now, where do the next generation of leaders actually practice their judgment? If they never have to struggle through the messy, boring details, if they never have to manually collate the data to see where the errors are, do they ever develop the intuition to spot when the AI is wrong?
That is the question of the decade, isn't it? We might be creating a generation of leaders who have never had to get their hands dirty. They're system designers who have never actually built a part.
And if the architect has never laid a brick, I'm not sure I want to live in that house.
A terrifying thought.
Something to chew on. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time.